Alright folks, here it is, coming soon to theaters near you, starring former NFL superstar tight end Dallas Clark, the remake of the adult film everybody's been waiting for, but this time with a little twist. This time it's Dallas Does Debbie. Alright. Alright, so what's going on there, folks? This is Uncle Dogmatica, and I am with Pyromaniac.com, about ready to bring you the 2010 fantasy outlook for one Mr. Dallas Clark of the Indianapolis Colts tight end. Alright, first and foremost, I want to throw a huge kudos out there to Mrs. Clark, Dallas's mom, Jan. Unreal. What can you say about this woman? You know, packing in two surefire, no-brainer careers into one name. That's pretty impressive. I mean, with a name like Dallas Clark, first of all, it definitely sounds like a football name. But when he's done and he's hanging up all those cleats, very easily can make that transition into being a porn star. If he keeps that stash going, get rid of the goat there, that guy's got it made. Alright, so let's get on to Dallas Clark, the player, as he is today. First of all, he is a one-man wrecking crew. Last year, what he did, putting up those 10 TDs along with the 1,100 yards and 100 receptions, that is something pretty impressive. Just to put that in perspective, there's only been one other tight end to beat that out. The receptions part, 100 receptions. Tony Gonzalez put up 102 receptions back in 2004. So Dallas now is second all-time for tight ends with receptions. Just to stress how impressive that is, even more, there are, 7 tight ends in the Hall of Fame. Not a single one of them got even close to that 100 reception mark. To put that even bigger perspective, there are 11 wide receivers in the Hall of Fame at this point. Only 3 of those receivers put up more than 100 catches. So 8 of them never even put up 100 catches in a season. So my goodness, Dallas, that was a pretty impressive season. All right, anyway, so he was barely eked out by Vernon Davis last year, who had an insane year in itself. Barely eked out by Vernon in fantasy points. So he came in second in fantasy points last year. He was second in receiving yards. He had 1,106 receiving yards. Antonio Gates beat that out with 1,157, I believe. He was third in the league for tight ends with touchdowns. He had 10 touchdowns in the year. I mean, this guy putting up 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, and 100 catches. Any wide receiver would kill for a year like that, much less a tight end. You had him on your fantasy team last year. You're one happy camper. Besides that, he was second in targets for tight ends. He had 132, only beaten out by Tony Gonzalez. Again, mentioning that name, Tony G. He's a surefire Hall of Famer as well. But with 132 targets and 100 catches in those 132 targets, I mean, Clark must have freaking glue, just dripping from his hands. I mean, that guy was catching balls out of midair with one hand, better than Jenna Jameson could do. So. I don't know, stupid joke, but regardless to say, the guy is extremely impressive. He is really coming to his own. It's been coming for about 5 or 6 years now. Everybody can see the writing on the wall with this guy. Indy has basically pegged him as what they call a tight end hybrid. He's a guy that you could split out on either side of the ball. You could split him out wide, just like a wide receiver. They use him as a wide receiver quite a bit. He's a big matchup problem for defenses. But yeah, I mean, he can pretty much do anything out there that he wants to do. The guy's quick as hell. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. And he'll catch anything that's within, anywhere within his distance, with his hands distance. That guy will catch anything you need. So anyway, to go back to talking about him, he was first-time Pro Bowler this last year. He'd never made it to the Pro Bowl before. He didn't get to play in it because of the Super Bowl, but it's his first year making the Pro Bowl. He was also a first-team All-Pro. That's pretty impressive. That's usually been held down by Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates and those guys in years past, but he finally broke into that crew. He really, I mean, he has skills like no other in the league. Like I said, with the Colts using him as that hybrid, there's not a lot of tight ends that can do what he does. None of them have the speed that he has out there. He is a matchup problem constantly, and those hands are pretty just goddamn ridiculous. Is it realistic to think in 2010 coming up for him to put up numbers like that again? No. 100 catches is a very rare thing for a tight end to do. It's a rarity. I mean, even with all the 100-yard receivers that you're seeing nowadays, the wide receivers, it's still a huge rarity with tight ends. As I told you before, it's the second most all time, with Tony G putting up 102 back in 2004. But you really shouldn't have a problem taking him with the first pick as a tight end in your league this year. He's really heads and tails above everybody else. He's Tony G's on the downside of his career. Antonio Gates is starting to fall off a little bit, although I'd put Antonio right up there with Dallas as well. But you really shouldn't have a problem taking Dallas with that #1 tight end pick. Get him on your team. You'll be extremely happy about it. And just to close this whole thing out, this is just for Dallas himself out there. Dallas, when you are done with the game and you want to hang him up, give us a call over here at Pyro. We will set you up in your second career. We'll make some calls. We'll get you going. You get that porn stash going again, and I swear we'll find you a role. We'll make sure that you get going in that second career, because man, you got the name, you got the skills, you're the man. Give us a call, and we'll get you, instead of being a tight end, we'll get you on the opposite side of the 10 end this time. All right, word. Peace out, guys. Late.